Hello out there and welcome to another edition of CollegeSportsMadness.com video blog. My name is Zach Bai. I'm the football and basketball broadcaster for the University of Albany. But again, today I'm going to be covering the FCS playoff picture as we are now down to just 8 teams left after this Saturday's matchups, and of course each matchup huge to the particular region and university that you choose to talk about. But I'm just going to hit on a few, and I'm going to start of course with North Dakota State, the #1 overall seed. And my very last video blog on CollegeSportsMadness.com was talking about how I believed how North Dakota State was going to win the second national championship in as many years in 2012. And this past Saturday against South Dakota State, they made me look pretty smart as they beat up on a good Jackrabbit team coming out of the NVC, one of the better conferences in the entire country as it concerns FCS. And they did it in dramatic fashion, or maybe undramatic, depending on how you look at it. 28-3 was the final score. And we're talking about a South Dakota State team that averages over 25 points a game, and just the week before put up 58 points in a playoff game. So really impressive stuff coming out of North Dakota State. Big rivalry game in conference, and the way that they were able to play defensively and stop the run yet again, that's been a big storyline for the Bison all year. But they played in South Dakota State, statistically, the FCS's best running back, and that's Zach Zenner. He came into the game statistically as the top rusher, and he was absolutely taken out of the game. One of the more impressive things I saw from this past Saturday's matchups. And Zenner is a guy who the week before ran for 295 yards, and then you juxtapose that with the 46 yards he ran on Saturdays. Just absurd run defense coming from the Bison. And this isn't the first time this happened this year to South Dakota State or Zach Zenner, as they played just a couple weeks ago. And again, Zenner was held to under 50 yards rushing. The only 2 times it happened all year for Zenner, who's had just a phenomenal year and will likely be an All-American, but speaks more to the defense of North Dakota State. And offensively, I thought Brock Jensen did another terrific job. And in my last blog, I talked about how Jensen was a great game manager, and that's not a slight at all at the junior quarterback. He does everything he's supposed to do to put North Dakota State in a position to win football games. And of course, this past Saturday, he rose to the occasion. He's been here before, and he threw for 2 touchdowns. He ran for another touchdown. But maybe more importantly than those 2 categories is the fact that he did not turn the ball over. So 2 touchdowns, a rushing touchdown, no picks, good completion percentage, and I think North Dakota State takes that every time, and again doing just enough to advance in the FCS playoffs. And another game I want to talk about is the Old Dominion win over Coastal Carolina by the score of 63-35. A whole bunch of offense in this one, folks, and I'm just going to single out one guy, of course, Taylor Heineke. The quarterback has been terrific all year for Old Dominion, coming out of, I believe, the best conference in FCS football. The CAA has had a terrific year, and that all came down to Saturday, where he just absolutely exploded through the air, 497 passing yards. He also threw for 6 touchdowns, which ties an FCS playoff record. You're talking about a kid who completed 72% of his passes in a playoff game. Just unworldly numbers. And Old Dominion as a whole put up 672 total yards of offense. Just out of this world. And I'm curious to see, though, moving forward, if Old Dominion will be able to score at that same rate. Now, as you get further and further along in this bracket playoff format, you're talking about a heightened sense of importance for each possession in each quarter in each game. And when the defense really tightens up, as I suspect it's going to this week against Georgia Southern, is Taylor Heineke going to be able to continue to make those plays as he has all year? It's going to be an interesting watch. And as I mentioned, only 8 teams left. North Dakota State is going to play Wofford this Saturday. Gotta like the Bison again moving on just because their combination of offense and defense, I think it's unique to any other team in FCS, and of course the 8 teams remaining. Montana State against Sam Houston State. Sam Houston State barely squeaked by Cal Poly by the score of 18-16 in dramatic fashion. That's going to be an interesting watch, as will Eastern Washington, who got past Wagner as they square off against Illinois State. You're talking about dramatic wins. Illinois State against Appalachian State in overtime, as Appalachian State was trying to rebuttal the touchdown. They did get the touchdown, but had their extra point blocked, and that's how Appalachian State's season ends. Illinois State moves on, and then of course Georgia Southern, a very good team coming out of the Southern Conference, squares off against the CAA's Old Dominion, and it's going to be a nice opposing cultures there, with Old Dominion's reliant on offense in the passing game, and Georgia Southern really a running first program. So it's going to be interesting to see who wins out there. Just terrific matchups all around. As always, we're going to have to wait for the 8th of December, this coming Saturday, to find out the results. But you can be sure when those games do happen, the next couple days after, I'll be on collegesportsmadness.com giving my thoughts and reactions, as will be narrowed down to only 4 teams left in the FCS playoffs. As always, I appreciate you taking the time and watching this video, and I thank collegesportsmadness.com for having me. For Zach Bye, I hope to see you next time.